The term selfie has been an inseparable part of our social media-driven culture. While taking a quick picture of ourselves is usually harmless, aside from perhaps fueling our narcissism, it can occasionally be the precursor to disaster and may just end up being the last photo you'll ever take. This month, a grown man fell to his death while posing for a picture on a ledge of Machu Picchu, the ancient Incan city in Peru. But death by selfie at a temple built for human sacrifice begs the question, how far would you go to get that killer shot? Today, we're going to discuss deadly selfies taken by crazy people. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Number 1. In July 2015, an unnamed English hiker was struck by lightning while trekking through the Brecon Beacons National Park in Wales. The fatal bolt was suspected to have hit the extended metal rod of a selfie stick and electrocuted the young man. Apparently, an unexpected thunderstorm came and gave rescue helicopters little time to find the man. But it was too late, despite a Royal Marine Cadet's attempt to resuscitate him. Though it has never been proven conclusively, authorities believe that the metal rod very well could have attracted the electrical bolt. Number 2. A bachelorette party is supposed to be one of the highlights of any bride's wedding experience, and the carefree smile on the face of Colette Marino selfie shows just how excited she was. Unfortunately, this would be her final photo. On the afternoon of June 20th, 2014, Colette and her best friend, Ashley Theobald, left work early to get a head start on their bachelorette weekend. While riding to the passenger seat of Ashley's vehicle, Colette took a selfie of the two, but 8 minutes later, they found themselves behind a large truck. Colette, who had suffered from long-life asthma, began to choke and cough as a result of the exhaust fumes pouring from the truck. In an effort to help, her friend Ashley leaned her head slightly out the window to make sure there was no oncoming traffic. But upon seeing no approaching vehicles, she accelerated to pass the truck. But unbeknownst to her, there was a Dodge Ram truck about to crest the hill straight ahead. Ashley quickly swerved to avoid the oncoming vehicle, but as she did, the fast-approaching Dodge swerved as well. They collided head-on. Luckily, Ashley and the other driver survived with minor injuries. However, Colette took the direct impact, succumbed to her critical injuries. Colette left behind her fiancé, Jesse Arcabasso, and their 5-year-old son, Braden. Number 3. Gary Sloake was a 15-year-old from Holland. He enjoyed his position as a goalkeeper for his local football club. Gary's mother, Petra Lingeveld, was a vibrant woman who in her younger days could often be found windsurfing or competing in cross-country skiing. This happy mother and son had nothing to do with the political tension between Russia and Ukraine, but as we are all too aware, these types of tensions can result in death and destruction to anyone caught in the crossfire. On July 17, 2014, Gary and Petra were to embark on what his football teams called the dream holiday of their life. Once seated on Malaysia Airlines flight MH14, Gary took a selfie of his mother and himself, showing how happy the two were and would be for the next unfortunately short while. 3 hours later, MH17 would be struck by a Russian Buk surface-to-air missile. The missile was fired from territory in Ukraine controlled by pro-Russian separatists. The damage rendered the airliner entirely incapacitated. The detonation from the missile occurred just over the cockpit and killed the 3 people in the cockpit instantly. Fragments from the missile and the sheer force of the explosion severed the cockpit from the business class section of the airplane, exposing the passengers to the lethal conditions outside. The aircraft began to plummet to the ground and disintegrated, taking its 283 passengers and 15 crew members with it. Some reports indicated that the only ones to die instantly were in the cockpit, and some passengers could be conscious for the next up to 90 horrifying seconds before losing consciousness and falling to their deaths. Unsurprisingly and unfortunately, no one had a hope of survival, and as if this senseless attack wasn't bad enough, it was reported that the bodies of the victims were looted once the fires died down. Number 4. Expressing one's love for music on your social media is a very natural thing for one to do. People often enjoy sharing their favorite songs with those who follow them. However, there is a time and place for this, and on the road while driving is not one of them. On an early Thursday morning, Courtney Sanford of Clemens, North Carolina, was driving to work. Courtney was listening to the song Happy by Pharrell Williams and decided that it was an appropriate time to share her feelings about the music. At 8:33 a.m., she took and posted this selfie to Facebook. Her caption read, "The happy song makes me happy." At 8:34, the High Point Police Department received a call about an accident. Sanford's car had crossed the median, colliding head-on with a truck. This caused both vehicles to run off the road. Her car burst into flames and the other driver hit a tree. Miraculously, Miraculously, the 73-year-old man driving the truck was unharmed, but sadly, Sanford had perished during the crash. Lieutenant Weisner on the High Point police had remarked on the accident, stating, "In a matter of seconds, life was over just so she could notify some friends that she was happy. It's really not worth it, as sad as it is also a grim reminder for everyone. You just have to pay attention while you are in the car." Number 5. The selfie trend has grown over the last few years, and people have been going to more extremes to get their perfect shot. This has led to pictures taken at unsafe heights, as 3 Utah teenagers would find out. Approaching danger for a picture can be a deadly mistake. Sisters Kelsey and Savannah Webster, along with their friend Essa Ricker, were visiting Spanish Fort Canyon on an October evening in 2011. According to the sisters' grandmother, Karen Webster, they were sweet, wonderful girls having a good time. While walking, the girls approached the Covered Bridge Canyon Railroad crossing. At around 6:40 p.m., the westbound Utah Railway train came through the crossing. At this crossing, there are 2 sets of tracks, running parallel to each other. The girls stood between the 2 sets of tracks in order to get an up-close selfie with a moving train. The original train cannot be seen in the picture, however, a second one can. Unfortunately, the train in front of them was so loud that they could not hear the horn of the second one approaching from behind them. After making a post on Facebook, within an instant, they were surrounded by the 2 fast-moving trains. It is not known whether the girls were startled and lost their balance, or if the wind generated by the 2 trains was the contributing factor. What is known is that they were struck by the side of one train and thrown into the side of the other. Kelsey and Essa died during the accident, and just 3 days later, Savannah passed away as well after being taken off of life support. Number 6. We all know that the end of a relationship can be hard, but depending on age and life experience, a breakup can be especially traumatic for some individuals. This was the case for Joon Yao, an 18-year-old resident of Shanghai. Lee had been in a relationship with her boyfriend for roughly 3 years. Their bond developed to the point where they began calling each other wifey and hubby. They even started picking baby names together. In Lee's mind, they were clearly going to be forever. That is, until she found out that her boyfriend was already married. When her now ex-boyfriend informed her that he had chosen his wife over Lee, went into a fast, dark spiral. This was well documented on her Instagram account. She could never accept any other man, and he would be, in her words, impossible to forget unless I die. Lee later posted pictures of her burning all the keepsakes associated with their relationship on her bed. She also wrote a post one time saying, "When I'm dead, I will cling to you day and night. I'll never leave you." In early March of 2014, Lee posted what would sadly be her final selfie, overcome with grief. She sat atop a tall building, capturing her legs dangling off the side in the picture, and, as is too often the case with such deep emotional disturbance, Lee committed suicide by falling to her death. Number 7. A Chinese businessman named Jia Lujin tried to take a selfie with a 1.5-ton walrus at a zoo in Liaoning Province, China. Apparently, the man was a big fan of this particular walrus, having previously sent photos and videos of it to his friends and family along with the message, "So strong, so big." As the man entered the gated house area to snap a photo with the female walrus, she grabbed him from behind and dragged him into the pool. Both Li Jun and the on-site zookeeper, who had cared for the walrus since she was a baby, were drowned to death by the massive toothed creature, who was reportedly only trying to play and give them a hug. A surveillance video taken of the incident went viral on Chinese social media. Number 8. Cheska Agas, a 17-year-old engineering student from the Philippines, was swept into a deadly wave on the beach at Bangui Bay during a birthday gathering. She was part of a group of engineering students in attendance that posed for a celebratory photo op in front of the scenic Bangui windmills when the group became caught in the overpowering ocean current. Several of the party guests were injured, but only Agas drowned in the wave. She was pronounced dead at the scene. According to her mother, Agas had been looking forward to the event for weeks and was only allowed to go because she needed to relax. That's all for now. Remember, you may not believe it, but anything is possible in a world so strangely serious. And that wraps up the video. Thanks for watching.